Welcome to the DJ Pdogg in the Mix podcast, hosted by 18-year industry veteran DJ Pdogg. DJ Pdogg will share stories and have guests that focus on giving artists the tools needed for a thriving music career and a path to better health. You are now in the mix with DJ Pdogg. What's going on, everybody? It's your man DJ Pdogg in the mix, and thank you guys so much for taking time out of your schedule, bro, to come hang out with your boy, the one and only DJ Pdogg. Hey, listen, if you guys could do me a huge favor, if you could do me a solid, whatever platform that you are listening to the show on or watching the show on, take a few quick seconds, man. Leave me a rating, a 5-star rating if that's what I've earned so far with the show, and leave up a comment. You know what I'm saying? It helps me out a little bit to rise up in the ratings on whatever platforms I'm on, and it helps get more exposure to the show. So every little bit helps. So if you can do that for your boy real quick, okay? That would be greatly appreciated, all right? Hey, listen, man, I got a packed show for you guys. I'm going to start off hot. I'm going to get right into it because I got a great guest that's going to be on with me today. But I want to talk about a few things. Not really a lot of things, but I'm gonna tell you what, I'm gonna get into the interview because I got a great jam-packed interview for you guys, great guests. But I'm gonna let you guys know, coming back on the other side, I've got a few quick things I want to talk about. One, okay, I want to talk about my birthday that is coming up. Okay, February 24th, okay, is my birthday, and I want to talk about that, and I want to give you guys a health update because last show told you guys that I was going in for some dental work, and I got to give you an update. I've had to go in twice, okay, and the second time almost sent me to the emergency room, all right? And I'm going to tell you guys all about that on the other side of this interview. Today's show, man, I got my man Brinson, who's going to be hanging out with me here on the show, bro. And listen, this guy is an author. He is a record label exec. He's an artist. He's an entrepreneur. He's a kingdompreneur, as he was saying. And we got a jam-packed show for you guys. We're going to be talking about a lot of things. We're going to be talking about how to survive in today's landscape of the music business, okay? We're going to talk about that, how he survived, how the individuals in his label is surviving in the new music business world. We're going to talk about podcasting a little bit because he's got a podcast. We're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk a little bit, just a little bit, about wrestling. All right, jam-packed show for you guys. My man Brinson, y'all check it out right here on the DJ Pdogg in the Mix podcast. And like I said, coming up on the other side, I'm gonna talk about my birthday and give you guys some health updates. All right, from your boy. So right now, here's my man Brinson on the DJ Pdogg in the Mix podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, it is not every day that I get a chance to have an absolute legend on my show. Okay. And when I say this guy is a legend, I mean, he's not only a legend, but he makes music for other legends, all right? Back in the day, giving you guys a quick history lesson real quick on how legendary this guy is. He did a song called Ric Flair on him, okay? The song was so hot, okay, that I burned that song on a CD, and I put it in the hands of the Nature Boy himself, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, record label exec, entertainer, podcaster, entrepreneur, kingdompreneur, author. Please welcome my man Brinson, ladies and gentlemen.
Yo, hey, I never knew that story, dude. Is that true?
That's a true story, bro. That is a true story. Matter of fact, I'll tell you what happened. I'll tell you what happened real quick. Me and a buddy of mine, we were working, we were doing radio together, and I heard, hey, Ric Flair's coming to town. So we hopped in the car like on a whim, bro. Like it was an absolute whim. And we were rushing. And I said, I got to burn that record onto a CD. And I probably put a few other songs on there too, you know. Can't waste the CD. Got to give it to the Nature Boy, right?
Right.
And so I put the song on the CD. We drive like an hour away to get to the spot. We're like one or two, not that close. We were like 3 or 4 something in line. Okay, so we got there pretty early. So one of our buddies, who was the television news broadcaster, he shows up with the video camera. And my guy who was with me, his name is Nick. He asked our friend who's with the TV crew, "Hey, who's interviewing Ric Flair?" And he looks at my friend and said, "Hey, you can interview him if you want to." So we're like, "Yeah, heck yeah, yeah, it's the Nature Boy, bro." So we get in line, we get our autographs and whatnot. I hand him the CD. Then we wait for a while. This is in a Walmart, by the way. So we wait for him to finish his autograph session, Ric Flair. We go to the bowels of Walmart somewhere so that we could do this TV spot. My friend is interviewing him. Ric Flair and this guy walks in and said, "Oh, yeah, that's the guy who gave us CD." And he showed me, he said, "Yeah, and I'm going to listen to this as soon as we get into the car." And I said, "Bro, this is insane." Brinsons, Ric Flair on them.
Wow.
That's song legends who make songs for legends, bro. That's who you are, bro.
Wow. Yo, I've never known that. And I got to shout out K Drama for making Air Jordan on them. That song probably was the most remixed song in Christian rap history ever.
I highly agree with that, and I wish that and this is why I want to bring guys like you onto the show, bro. Because Kai, like these new school cats, like they don't even understand. Like there was no. I mean, Facebook and MySpace was the thing back then, right? And so it's like if anything could go viral in the Christian hip hop world, that record went viral. As a radio guy, I was getting at least 10 to 12 remixes almost a day for like a month, bro. I mean, so you started out with Air Jordan on it. That's the original. Then Show Baraka did Kobe Bryant on him.
Yeah, Show Baraka did his. It was a big time lapse. So you had Martin Lawrence.
Right.
You had
the Ric Flair on him.
Ric Flair. You had Catch the Journalist did. What's the dude named Sean Battier on him? And he's not even
so many.
Rapper. Michael Jackson on him. That was hard.
Michael Jackson on him. I do.
Yeah. So it was so many, and then Show did his, and since the platform he had at the time, everybody knew that. And people, when K Drama do that song to this day, well, when we was touring and all that, people would come up to him and be like, "Hey, that's Show Baraka song," and he was like, "No, that's not." He flipped it. But that was one of the big, and it was a fun time because the South.com really blew that whole song up.
And that's what I miss about like that, bro, that time period to me, and maybe you can help me out a little bit and correct me if I'm wrong. Okay. But I feel like that time, because you had websites like, Rapzilla was there, and Rapzilla was like the OG even then. But you had the South, you had illspot.net. Do you remember illspot?
Illspot, yeah.
You had the holyculture.net. Like it felt like this collective, like it felt great to be a part of CHH at that time. It felt like everybody was kind of creating a groundswell for each other. And for a guy like K Drama, bro, who had been in the game already for years, to get that kind of love and attention was great. He well deserved. And he's still doing stuff too. Yeah. And at some point I'm gonna have him to come on the show, like, and I think this isn't your first time. This isn't my first time having you on a show before. I don't believe. It's my first time having you on the podcast for sure. But I'm sure when I was doing live radio, we did something.
Nope.
No?
Nope.
Well, I'm many years behind the 8 ball here, bro. Like this is even more of an honor and privilege to have you on, bro. But listen, man, we can talk small talk and chop it up all day. I mean, it's so many memories, so many stories.
Yes.
But I want to talk about what you got going on, bro. You got the record label, God Chasers. You've got a brand new album, Throw the Crown, that's out, and I want you to talk about. We're gonna talk about all those things, bro. But let me ask you this. COVID-19 is the thing right now. And one, give me the two perspectives from a record label exec perspective and an artist perspective, how has COVID reshaped what you guys are doing? How have you guys been able to reimagine and redo some of the things you've been doing since COVID has been here?
The reimagining is still happening. You with such a global thing that's a health issues and stuff. I think what I've done has when COVID first started it really hit last March. So I think in April I did a live stream concert. This was before my album dropped or whatever, but I did it just to encourage people, because this is when everybody was still in the house. Nobody was really going anywhere. And I think reshaping how we're doing ministry is, I've been doing a lot of private live stream concerts for churches and youth groups, and even speaking engagements over this, and I think it's really, we gotta use discernment and just try to reimagine how you can do ministry, how you can relate to people, how you can touch people to their core, and point them to the cross even on screen. Because it's no space and time for the Spirit of God. You know what I'm saying? Like
absolutely.
People are totally against Zoom churches, and I'm like, well, if God not strong enough to go through technology, then why are we worshiping it? You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
So I'm like, the power of God can go through technology, the phone. Think about this. Is not the first time people had to do this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure you remember all those ministries that got prayer lines and all that. It's the same thing. You hearing the voice, you know what I'm saying, you receiving the word, you still, it's still seed time and harvest. The word is like you giving seed over, and if people still have to have the good ground, stony ground, thorny ground, all of that still going through with the word of God. So with what we're doing, we're reimagining. We're still making music and all that, but I think the music that we're making now, well, I'll just speak for me, not for all the other artists on the label. For me, I think I just have to, I pray for more boldness, because my music has always been bold proclamation on the power of God, how we need a savior and salvation, the Great Commission and all that. But I think now more than ever, I just want my music to be more bold, more in your face, more unapologetic. Unapology when I'm talking about Jesus. I've been unapologetic the whole time, but I want to be more of that, because we don't know how much time we got left, and it's like, I feel like it's no
real talk.
If you don't feel like we turning pages in Revelations, then I don't know what you're looking at. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I don't think it's a time to just talk just about the goodness of God. You know what I'm saying? We got to talk about
absolutely
who He is, His sovereignty, His saving grace, why He came to the planet, like coming out of sin, denying self, dying to self, having self-control, like really trying to get to heaven, all of that. So, for me in this time, I think it's a no time to play moment. You know what I'm saying? It's all the, and I'm not talking about anybody else. I'm just saying for me, I feel like this is a pivotal time in history that is just like, I'm not trying to rap to be cute. I ain't trying to rap to get you to like me. I'm trying to point you to the cross, and if it hits you, you know what I'm saying? What the word say, for those who have an ear to hear, let them hear. And if you want something cute, I might not be the one. You know what I'm saying? And I'm cool with it.
I heard that. That's a great answer, bro. Because again, I think everybody's trying to reimagine, and I'm a firm believer, bro. Like church has never stopped. Like the true church of the Lord Jesus Christ has never been stopped. One of the things that I love that Jesus said, He said that not even the gates of hell will prevail against the church. And so I'm a firm believer. Like, listen, They might have to close down the gatherings, the live gatherings, but we can still gather in Jesus' name. We can still pray in Jesus' name, and we can still do ministry in Jesus' name, whether we go to that building or not. And that's just how, that's how I feel about that, man. So I'm definitely encouraged by hearing that, bro, because I've heard a lot of different people, and that's why I wanted to get your perspective too, because I think that is very valuable and valid, specifically in times like this, bro. But let me ask you, man, let's back up for a second. Let's go pre-COVID, okay? Because I'm very curious about something, and you got to help me out, bro.
All right.
Because I get a lot of young artists who hit me up and say, hey, man, should I be seeking out a record deal? The way the music industry is right now, the way the music landscape is, the way people listen to music and if they buy music at all. Let me ask you this from the record label exec perspective here. How do you conduct business in the new music landscape? And this is pre-COVID.
For me, so you gave me two questions. So I'm gonna go with the latter question, then I'm gonna go with the first part. I think for me, doing ministry, let's just say pre-COVID, like I believe in tangibles, right? Mm-hmm. So yes, we have streaming platforms. Yes, people, this is the digital age, but I think if you give people an experience, you know what I'm saying, and they come to the concerts, like I try to have my concerts to be one of the best experiences people have when they, you know what I'm saying, because I might be the first Christian rapper who concert somebody went to, so I want to make sure that I give them 110% and not just on stage, but off stage. You know, I'm not going to be the guy in the back, like, you know what I'm saying, like I'm all that. I'm going to be in people's face, trying to encourage people, getting to know them. And when that happens and people feel a connection with you, like you're going to win, because people, when they relate to somebody, they support it. So when I say I believe in tangibles, like, dude, my merch game was insanity. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And just in COVID, I can just tell you about that. Like when I released Throw the Crown, I didn't just release an album. Like my CDs sold out. I released 3 t-shirts, variant t-shirts. I put out nice artwork, posters. I did vinyl. My vinyl sold out in 4 days. You know what I'm saying? So
wow,
I did vinyl.
Vinyl is in.
Dog. It was the best move. It was the best move. You know what I'm saying? And in the last vinyl, I put it up for an auction, and not all, because you wasn't a part of it, but a lot of the Christian hip-hop DJs started auctioning on it, and it just, whoa, it went crazy. I
did see that.
Yeah, so I had other tangibles, and like what I did when people ordered it from my site, I sent them the CD with a card, with photos, with some people got a pen. It was a whole bunch of stuff that went on in these packages, because I believe that when people get tangibles, it enhances their experience. That's why people buy t-shirts at concerts, because they want to remember the experience that they had. So that's how I was doing it. So in to answer your question about should somebody sign or somebody shouldn't sign, I think it's where the person that, like, it was this one artist, I don't want to name him, but he was like, Brinson, you've been doing independent thing. You've been all around the world. You ain't been in the in crowd, but God has been moving with you. And he was like, I don't think I should sign a deal. And I asked him, I was like, well, how much is this label offering you? And he said 6 figures. I'm like, take the deal.
Huh.
Because I've been doing this, you know, with the help of the Lord for so many years. And I'm like, if they can give you 6 figures, 6 figures. And I'm like, just take that and don't spend that money. Build your audience, let the machine work for you, and then after your contract is up, you already got a platform and you can do independent things, because a lot of people don't have administration skills. They don't know business. They don't know how to read contracts. They don't have a lawyer. You know what I'm saying? They don't have any of this stuff. And I'm like, people are saying, they're looking at what the people on bigger platforms are saying about record deals. I'm like, you're listening to somebody who already got paid for this. You're not listening to the people who is out hustling and trying to do it. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't have a financial burden and you're fine. Like, I mean, I know it's a few guys in Christian rap who have really well paying jobs. Like some guys are stockbrokers and stuff like that. And if you don't need that, then stay independent. But if you've been doing it like me full time or whatever, and an opportunity comes where it can enhance your lifestyle and enhance your ministry and enhance the way you give and bless, why not? I mean, if you're talented and they sign you to 2 albums, you telling me you can't make 2? You can't make more than 2? Like, you take the 2, get your platform, get your fan base up, and then after that, you rock how you want to rock. But that's just my opinion.
Sure. That's a good perspective. I've never heard it. I've never heard it put that way, and I think you have good insight on that coming from both perspectives as an artist and a record label exec. So that's pretty dope. Let's talk about this, man. Because I just did an episode here on the podcast called "Why I Left Christian HipHop."
Mm-hmm.
Of course, that was the lead-in title, but the second part of that is why I'm back, why I came back, and what I feel like my place is. And I definitely feel like my place now. Well, one, just to kind of give you a snapshot on where I was going with that conversation, there was a lot that was happening that I got to see behind the scenes. A lot of the arguments in some spaces, it became very toxic. And it was just too much for me, bro. I had to step away just to keep my sanity, dude. Now, let me say this. I didn't put out no articles and no tweets and no Facebook pages.
It's not needed.
Hey, I'm leaving. Yeah, it's like, no, let me just step away, because I can't throw the baby out with the bathwater, but I just need to get a breath of fresh air. Let me get some air. That's basically what it was. I mean, we're not even talking about a long time. We're talking about maybe a year or two. But I said on the show that it wasn't just the CHH world that I had to disconnect from. It was the gospel music, the Christian music world in general. Because there was a lot of things, and it was coming in all at one time from all different angles. It was like, I gotta step away for a second, or I'm gonna lose my mind, bro. Trying to figure all this junk out. Mm-hmm. Where do you think the state of Christian hip hop is now, and where do you think it should be going? I was on a chat last night where it was talking about, should we even rename and rebrand Christian hip hop? And I chimed in on that. And I said that I think that we're going to be categorized as Christian rappers because of the content. That's just what it is. Anytime Kanye puts out a Christian song, they say he's a Christian rapper. Chance the Rapper, the same thing. So I think that's just going to be there. That's just what it is. But I was telling the guy, I said, man, maybe we should just call ourselves hip hop. And I felt like, and I want to get your opinion on this, I felt like that was a missing key ingredient to a lot of what caused my frustration. Is I felt like we're trying to fit into the gospel world. We're trying to fit into the CCM world. Not everybody, but from a broad stroke approach, that's what it felt like from the vantage point that I had. And it was just not working. People welcomed it a little bit, but it just wasn't working. That's just the reality. It just wasn't working for whatever reason. And now we even see, the CCM world as they embraced us, as we begin to talk about other things that they couldn't directly relate to, it became alarming to them, specifically talking about justice and activism and just being pro-black. A lot of those things were foreign concepts to a lot of them, and it just became terrible on all ends, bro.
Mm-hmm.
But again, where do you see Christian hip hop from your standpoint, and where do you think we should be going as a culture of CHH?
Such a loaded question.
I know, right? That was a lot, bro. That was a lot.
So here's where I'm with it, and I want to give you the rawest, pure, honest answer I can give you. Okay. For me personally, I think I'm trying my best to not even think about the category, because thinking about it takes brain effort from the mission,
energy.
It takes so much from the mission of why I'm in it. You know what I'm saying? Like me talking about should we call this thing this or that is so fruitless as a discussion from the reason you doing it. You know what I'm saying? Because the person who, you know what I'm saying, who emailed me and saying I almost, and then I heard your song and didn't do it. They didn't care what category I was in. They just needed help. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for me, I try to distance from the entire topic because it takes away from it. But my thought about the topic is I don't mind being associated with anything that has to do with Christ, because hip hop ain't saved me. Hip hop ain't die for me. Hip hop ain't, when my dad got his hearing restored, it wasn't hip hop that did that. It was Christ. When my, you know what I'm saying? Like when my mom died for like 5 minutes and the Lord brought her back, hip hop ain't bring her back. Christ did. So if somebody want to be like, should we be Christian hip hop? I deem it an honor to do anything under the servitude of Christ. So if I don't care what the world think about me. The world ain't supposed to understand me. I'm supposed to be peculiar. I'm supposed to be different. I'm supposed to be misunderstood, because if they didn't understand Christ and they killed him, I don't want worldly validation. Bump the world. The world need what I got. The world need what you playing. The world don't care what they call us, because they already got a preconceived notion that we not dope. And we got a whole bunch of people doper than 99.9% of everything that they doing. So they need to get like us, not we need to get like them. And the other part of your question about what I think the state is, I think the state of Christian rap is in such a, so this is what I've learned. In Christian rap, in every 2 to 3 years, there's a massive turnover. It's a massive turnover of fans. It's a massive turnover of artists. People.
I came back in the turnover, bro. I came back in the turnover.
You came. No, you probably so where you were. So my boots was on the ground. You know what I'm saying? So where you were seen from your vantage point, you probably missed 2 turnovers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You probably missed 2 turnovers. So now you got people. You got political rap, Christian rap. You got Christian rap that's not saying anything about Christ. You got people who saying, don't call me that, but they still be like, I want to gig at a church. Like you got all these people trying to mesh, and I think the state of it is, I don't think it has anything to do with the name. I think the state lost, not everybody, a lot of people lost the why I'm doing it, what I'm doing it for. Like, am I doing it for clout? Like, praise God, a lot of the newer guys, I hear a lot of Jesus in their music. I don't know them, you know what I'm saying? But what I do know, like, I hope they at a local church, I hope they're being discipled, all that good stuff. And I think the state needs to reevaluate the why. If you're not doing it, make disciples, point people to the cross,
Yeah.
give them Christ, then it's not Christian hip hop. You know what I'm saying? And if you're not doing it for the Lord and you just doing rap, then don't take these faith-based opportunities. Let somebody who want to rap for the faith-based community do it. But you know, people so prideful and they want their money, they're not gonna do that. But
Gotta secure the
that's my
bag.
thought.
I tell you what, bro. I think right there what you said was very key. The why, and that was a part of my journey, because I got sucked into that abyss of the arguments, of the conversations, of the this and the that, and I had to get away. And I feel like when I got away, I reevaluated the why. Because here's the reality: even though I stepped away from the scene, I was still doing my Jesus thing. Even though I was doing things on the underground hip hop scene, it was almost as if I was kind of like
was being a light. And you know,
absolutely.
You notice the fallen nature of all these people, and you like, you guys need all of this that I got, and that's, and I totally get it, because when you're not in the Christian hip hop bubble, debating the same things that cats have been debating since Great Tree Records and LA Symphony and Pro Movement.
Yeah.
If you're not debating that, and you actually are seeing real people and seeing real world problems and seeing how fallen man is, and you like, man, I remember a song from Hoots or What's It from this time that if I give it to you, it'll rock your world. So I mean, being
I remember, and this is what I tell people. This is what I said in that show. I said going over into the underground hip hop scene, doing what I do, not changing who I am, but doing what I do. I saw that they respect me from an artist standpoint, because I'm a dope DJ. Their words, not mine.
Small flex, and it's all good flex. God made you dope.
You know, it is what it is. And being able to shed that light, bro, what I saw is, one, we've got the answer for hip hop, because you're right. We've got some of the best artists. I believe with all my heart, bro, that Christian rap music, Christian hip hop music is the best and purest form of hip hop that's out there. I believe that. And not only do we have the answer from the artistry standpoint, but man, we've got the answer, which is Christ. And I think going over showed me, like, it helped me, like you said, understand that why. So now that I'm coming back over, it's like, now that I've kind of refocused and recalibrated, I'm coming over fresh. I know how to bob and weave from that abyss, because it's still there.
And I think, to your point, is I think that's one of the reasons when I see rappers be like, oh man, this secular guy's the GOAT. I'm like, no, he's not. Like I did prison ministry for maybe 6 years straight, and I always ask the guys when they get in, when they're incarcerated, because I used to do P farms, max security, death row prisons, all of that, and I say, what were you listening to before you pulled that gun on somebody? What was you listening to when you was carjacking the people? And when they went down the list of these people's GOATs, I was like, how you the GOAT and you was a heavy influence in getting these people where they at? Like, you ain't no GOAT. You know what I'm saying? Like, you was a tool from the serpent. That's what you was. And to your point, we do have some of the greatest artists, lyricists. Like, come on, dude. Like, I'll throw some throwback names. Like, dude, I don't see many secular dudes bodying Act Davis, bodying R. Swift, bodying Eshawn, a Mouthpiece, a Ready Writer. I don't look. Throw D-Mob in there. I don't see nobody bodying dude when he was making music. Come on, man. Like,
yeah.
Even the new dudes. J. Crumb is dope. Mitch, what is his name? Mitch Daryl is dope. Zay Hill.
Yeah, he's out here in my area.
All these dudes, way better, because we have to be more creative with our message. Like, they talking about the same 4, 5, 6 subjects over and over, and we have to be 10 times doper. Mixing and mastering got to be 10 times better. Yeah. So we can be that replacement.
Absolutely. Now I want to talk a little bit about the new album, bro. Tell us, because you listen. If there's another guy. Like I don't know many guys, specifically on the indie level of music, that have put out as many albums as you have, bro. and I've known you to be in Christian hip hop now at least 15 years, at the very least.
15?
And
06?
15 that I know about.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, you on point. You on point.
Okay, I don't know what your first album was, but I still got solar powered on my computer.
That was on the first album, Escaping Me.
Okay.
I dropped that in 08.
So I've known you for a minute.
Yep.
Now you got a new project out, Throw the Crown.
Throw the Crown.
Tell us a little bit about that album. Tell everybody where they can find it. I'm gonna put the little graphic up while you're talking about it.
So Throw the Crown is my 10th album, you know what I'm saying? And I felt like it was like a milestone, you know what I'm saying, to be independent, and you know, God allowed me to travel all over. And so when I'm saying Throw the Crown, that milestone in Revelations, I believe Revelations 21 and 12, I think that's the address. It talks about the elders being around the throne of God, and they take their crowns off and throw it at his feet. And I think the crowns of what we view as success is your milestones, your accomplishments, and the thing that when people see you, like, he's dope because XYZ. And I'm like, whatever my dopeness is and whatever you think about me, I throw it at the feet of Christ, because without him, I couldn't have done any of these accomplishments. I couldn't have done a podcast that's been around for 6 years. I couldn't have done 2 books, 10 albums. The label got 70 something projects under the belt, and without the help of Christ, none of this would be possible. So I'm like, I take the crown off and throw it at the feet of Christ. So I mean, it's some of my best work. I got a lot of dope people on it. I got OGs like Petty D. Then you got your guys who are doping now, Stephen Malcolm. You know, got all the God Chasers on there, Oatmeal, Ready Rider, Nazarite, and then you got the new guys like Zay Hill, that's on the project, and it's pretty dope. I mean, one of the best parts about it, I love the artwork, because, you know, I'm a comic book.
I was just about to say that, bro. I was about to say that.
So,
like, you are. Let me say this, bro. You are a cool dude. Okay, like, seriously, bro. You're coming on to my show here. Okay, look at my background. Okay, look at my background, bro. You're sitting there with the Sega gimmick going on behind you. You got the shades on. You know what I'm saying? You got the Jaguar hat going on. I can't pull that off. I can't pull that off, bro. You know.
Can't.
Then I'm
you
looking.
You don't want to. You just, you know.
And then but listen. Follow me here. I'm looking at the album cover, bro.
Yep.
You look like a LeBron James Thanos gauntlet situation. I don't know. It's cool. Like, everything you just said and described, I'm looking at that on the album cover. You got the crown in your hand. I'm looking at the throne. There's a bunch of crowns on the steps of the, you know, leading up to the throne. Like, this is dope. You know?
Yeah.
Who's your comic guy? Who's your cartoonist?
My past 2 projects got this type of artwork. And this particular one, the guy who penciled and penned it, he's a comic book artist, and he's worked on stuff like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like real comic book, like his stuff in stores. And the guy who done the ink and coloring, another guy, he worked on a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle cover, and I met them at some Comic-Cons. You know what I'm saying? They got this. They got this thing called Artist Alley. So you go down this alley.
That's not surprising.
And, you know what I'm saying? You go down this alley, and it's like hundreds of artists, and you could pay them to make custom artwork for you. You know what I'm saying? And one dude I seen, and he was just the guy who did it, he worked on Transformers. The first guy, the pencil and the ink, he worked on the Transformers comic book, and the guy who did my coloring did Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So I also
is it safe to say you put in a pretty good investment in your situation
for the artwork? Oh yeah. It is. Yeah. Yeah.
I want people to hear that. Like, you got to invest in your situation.
Yeah, I personally think the artwork is just as important as the music, if not more, because not the
it's the
content,
first thing I'm gonna see.
But it's the first thing you're gonna see. And I've been to concerts where people who don't know me come by my booth, and just because the artwork is dope, they buy, and they like, I don't know who you are, but this is way better than everybody else's, and I'm gonna pick this up. So I believe the artwork is very important. So
for sure. Now, you've got a book out as well, bro. 10 things every Christian hip hop artist should know. Tell us about that book, bro. And if you can, like, I don't want to spoil it, but give us one of those things and just kind of give us a brief snapshot into that.
So I wrote that book and started my podcast, the God Chasers podcast, the same year. And I did it because I've been independent for so many years, and I wanted the people who come after me not to go through the things that I've had to go through being like a one-man band, you know what I'm saying, with the help of the Lord. And just, if I could, I wanted to give people the gems that the people before me, I wish they gave to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And one of the chapters talks about one thing. What is it called? One thing isn't the answer. Meaning, in my journey in Christian rap, I would say, if I did a song with this person, or if I got a beat from this person, if I get a article on this website, if I get these many views, it's gonna work. And that's that's what it's called. One thing isn't an answer. So it's not, if you do this one thing, it's all gonna come together. It's all these tiny doors build up to a great door and then God can elevate you, you know, in his time. And so that's one important thing that I think every artist should know, that just because you do a song with this person, or they put you on this album, don't mean your whole the trajectory of your career is going to change. You know what I'm saying? Just because somebody gave you a shout out on Twitter, you might get 20 followers from the shout out, but that might be it. You know what I'm saying? There's so much that goes into the momentum of an artist. One thing isn't the answer. So that's basically one of the chapters that I talk about, and I give examples and things like that. And in every chapter, I provide action steps, because I wrote the book the way that I want to read, because I hate when I read a book, this is just me, and people give me these background stories. I don't want background stories. Give me the information to help me get some traction. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I wrote the book. In outside of action steps, I think in every chapter, I gave the prayers that I prayed. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, not just, you're going to get action steps, you're going to get spiritual aspects, you're going to get what I had to do practically, and you're going to get the stuff that I personally prayed to get traction, and I believe God honored those prayers. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's an essential book. You know what I'm saying? It's on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, all that good stuff. I think it's essential for guys who want to do it, because I gave some game about increasing financial income through your music and stuff like that. The stuff that people don't want to tell you. I said it.
Yeah, but you also do that through your podcast as well.
I do.
So talk about your podcast and how we can keep up with your podcast as well.
I mean, it's on all the places that you can get a podcast. It's on.
Well, what's the name of the podcast? What's the name of the podcast?
The podcast is the God Chasers podcast, and you know, it's on Spotify, it's on Google Podcasts, it's on all those places. So
for sure, and I'll make sure I have a link to it on the show notes of this episode as well, so people can check you out. Appreciate
it. And like I said, I think it's just I just wanted to give the people the things that I wasn't given when I started. You know what I'm saying? And in the podcast, another thing, when I have guests on there, I ask them that same question. I think that's another good component to helping artists is I'll bring other people on and let them tell their story in the practical things that they did and the things that helped them get movement in their career. So I think that's essential, because you need to hear these stories, because when you get those gems and you can miss those places where you can get shipwreck on, I think all that's essential.
For sure. Well, Brinson, man, listen, bro, you've got a lot of wisdom. I want to bring you back on the show again. And I know people always say that I'm going to bring you back. You know, they say that, but I'm serious. Like I would love to bring you back, specifically because you have a podcast and you've got this book, and I would love to chop it up about some of those specific pieces in the book, because I want to make sure that I do everything that I can, because that's one of the reasons that I came back is one, as I had stepped away, I was watching people like yourself, and you came out with that book while I was away, and I said, man, that's dope. Thank God somebody is doing something. I got to go take a breather, but man, Brinson, he's the guy. Somebody's got something. I know KJ52 has been another one of those guys who always drops gems and drops game for artists. So man, I appreciate what you've done. I appreciate your consistency, bro. Because one of the things that
before you go, I don't know how much time you got. You've seen these guys. You've seen stuff from behind the curtain and stuff like that. Why don't you drop a gem on pitfalls and all that you saw?
Wow.
Yeah.
Putting me on the spot now. Usually I have these things prepared. I mean, you know, I think one of the greatest pitfalls that I've seen is during that time where people were trying to figure out, am I a Christian rapper or a rapper that's a Christian? I saw a lot of the bigger names making their pivots, but I feel like one of the things that we didn't do a good job on is walking with people who followed their careers to kind of take that journey too. Now, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I had this conversation with Lecrae.
Keep it a buck, then.
I had this conversation with him. I remember when he came out with Church Clothes, and I brought him onto my show, and he did an interview. He said, you know, this particular project is going to be more so for the hip hop heads, not so much that regular 116 fan base. So I was bracing myself, bro. But then it came out, and I was like, bro, like, this is an amazing body of work. And I feel like it's keeping it, you know, Christ-centered, even though it's not the traditional Lecrae record. I still hear what I need to hear, and I know I can go give this to somebody, and they don't get pounded over the head, but they can hear real stuff from real people. And I told him, I said, bro, I don't understand what you mean by this not for your people. Like, this was a dope record. But I felt like them making moves and saying how they're making those moves, it paints from an outsider looking in with a broad stroke, and it doesn't really give an opportunity to walk with people. So the downfall that I saw, because a lot of artists didn't have that context, they were trying to follow in those same footsteps, thinking, oh, they're doing it like this, when in reality, they were doing it like this, and they were falling away. So I've seen a lot of artists that have kind of fell away from the faith, who have fallen away from doing Christian music because, one, they put an individual in a place that they shouldn't have been in the first place, right? You should never put anybody, your pastor, an artist, a husband, a wife, whatever, in a place where only God is supposed to be. And because a lot of guys put these guys in those spots, when these guys were making those moves, what it began to do, Brinson, is it really began to reveal the heart of where some of these artists really wanted to go in the first place. And so I think that was...
And plus, I don't know, and I probably don't know if you know, I don't know if the Lord told dude to do that anyway, right? If the Lord instructed dude to go that way, he instructed him to go that way. He didn't instruct all the rest of them to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like
exactly. You saw that from even on the label, even within the label. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that, again, I remember, and I wanted to tell the story on one of my other shows, but since you got me here, we're already over time. It's whatever. I remember when I DJ'd for Lecrae, the first time he performed at 106 in Park. And I remember there was so many, like, I got to do a whole show about that day. Like, I got untold stories about that day.
I don't even remember dude being on 106.
So he did it twice. So when I went on, what song did he perform? It was off of Church Close 2. Round of Applause, the joint with B.O.B. That's what we performed. And I remember that day, bro, just being in that space, because we were there all day, like from morning to late afternoon, early evening, to do the taping. And I remember, there was a bunch of 116 people in the audience. And I remember being in the back.
When you said that, it came. Yep, I remember.
Yeah. So I remember being behind the scenes. We're about to go on stage, and we're about to do the show. And I remember Lecrae. It was me, Cannon, and my man Nate, Lecrae's drummer. And Lecrae said, "Guys, let's pray real quick." He said, because he said something to this effect, said, "We're in enemy's territory and we are not welcomed here." And when we walked out there on that stage, bro, to hear that crowd chanting 116 we weren't expecting that at all. And it was like, bro, like, this is dope. It's like, man, we at war. We got the soldiers here ready to rock. You know what I'm saying? And that was amazing. But behind the scenes, okay, there were some conversations that were going on, okay, where there were some business people back there who, make some of the business decisions. How do we make sure that they don't call him a Christian rapper? Make sure they say he's a rapper and this, that, and the other. And that made, I raised the eyebrow. I was like, oh, okay. I don't know where I'm at with all that right now, but I see, there's this business component to it. Brother ain't going out here compromising his faith. He's bold about his faith. I don't know where I'm at with it. That's where I was at that point in time. So I'm just saying, I heard a lot of those kinds of conversations happening behind the scenes, not so much from the artist, but a lot more per se from the business people. And a lot of those business people were not coming from the place of Christian hip hop. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They were not they were in the music business. These were music business people, making these statements and making these calls. So it was very interesting to see. And again, I got to see a lot behind the scenes, during my time with Reach. I mean, I got a chance to see a lot behind the scenes, and that was a part of. Man in the ugly. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, man, I've got stories, and that's what I want to bring to the show. Is I want to share some of these stories. Somebody told me I need to write a book. And I probably got enough stories to write a book for sure. But I'm not gonna share this on this.
You gotta make sure you don't get sued.
Right. Hey, listen, I ain't signed no NDIs. You know what I'm saying? None of the stories that I got are crazy. You know what I'm saying? They're not risque per se. I'll say that. None of the stories are risque. I think the most risqueest story I got, and I'm a tease here. We did almost have an international incident in Jamaica back in the day. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Okay.
Oh, man. I got to save that one for another show. But, yeah, it was, wow, by God's grace. But, yeah, man, I think you drop a lot of wisdom, bro. And I like bringing, and this is what I was trying to say before you asked me that question. I appreciate your consistency, bro. Like, seriously, I'm not trying to gas you, but I've seen people come and go. You've seen people come and go. Okay, to be consistent in this game, in the music game, first of all, period, is a huge feat. But to be consistent in the Christian hip hop world is even more of a feat to me, because you're talking about a subgenre of a subgenre of a subgenre. Okay, a microcosm that's still, in a state of building. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't feel like CHH right now is on a complete solid foundation as far as the business side. Okay, I think we still got a lot of work to do. There's been a lot of talks between people when it comes to theology, but for the most part, we all believe the same thing: Christ's death, burial, and resurrection, faith, salvation by grace through faith. I think those are the foundational pieces, and we can have those open-handed discussions from a theological perspective all day.
It's not a lot of theological debates like it used to be, because I call that.
Yeah.
I call what we were in the Pharisee era. That's what I call it.
You weren't even in the thick of it, bro. If you came in the 2006 era, bro,
I was in it. I was more in it than the usual person, because I was in between. When I'm on tour, I'm usually touring with every name, high level, mid level, people you never heard of. So it was everywhere, but it's not.
But this is what I'm saying. The fact that you were touring and enduring that, okay? I'm talking about the late mid 90s, bro, when cats was like, this is of the devil. That era, bro. So we had to come through, and I told this in that show that I did about why I left Christian hip hop. Christian hip hop has endured a lot from all angles. Okay, and the fact that it even still exists is a testament in and of itself that people still want to do it.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
I don't think it's that much of a testament as I think it's a tool that's being used by the Lord, just like worship music.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People, they enter in the presence of God through worship music. I think this is just one of those fascinating baits that the Lord used to draw people. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I think it's so much room for Christian hip hop on every sound, the boom bap sound. Those people appeal to people in late 30s, 40s, 50s, because that's their era. Then you got
that's real hip hop.
It's a tool, and I think I did want to say this to your point of my longevity. I think it's because I'm called, you know what I'm saying, and the Lord is with me. You know what I'm saying? My faith is totally in the Lord, because I think it's one of them things, like, I've never been the cosign dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't never hear none of the dudes be like, oh, it's been me and the Lord, and God is the one that opened doors for me over and over and over and over and over again. And I think for new artists, for new artists that been in, I think all artists in this genre, mine just got to be, God is the one that's going to open these doors. And if he don't do it, it ain't going to be done.
Absolutely. I think that's a very good outlook, bro. Hey, man, before we get out of here, bro, let everybody know how they can keep up with you, man. Drop all your socials, your website, the whole 9 yards.
Cool. My website, you can go to iambrinson.com or godchasers.com. On my website, I never plug this, but I'm gonna just do it on this show. Like, if you order any type of album from my website, like a hard copy CD, and you see me on this show, I'm going to send you a package that's probably worth over $100-something. And just because you see me on this show, my Instagram is Godchasers, GODCHASERZ, and on Twitter is I am Brinson. You know what I'm saying? So,
there you go.
And I never get to say this, on my website, I got albums that's not released anywhere.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. So make sure you guys go buy the Brinson merch. Let them know that you're here at the show here on the DJ Pdogg in the Mix podcast, so that I can get some kickback. Right? Can I get a little bit of coin?
Nope.
No, it's just
Yep.
affiliate marketing, bro. Come on, podcasting, bro. Affiliate marketing.
Look, you will let somebody do it and say they seen it on the show. I will hit.
There you
Cash
go.
App. Cash App is a ministry. Come on, somebody.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Man, listen. Thanks so much for coming onto the show, bro. I know you're a busy dude. You got the whole situation going, bro. In all the years that I've known you, and we've done a lot of live shows together, whether it be the Flavor Fest or I've done events down in Jacksonville where you are. And bro, I've never seen you without shades, bro.
Nobody
I've
has.
never seen you without.
Nobody has. It's, dude,
has your wife ever seen you without the shades, bro?
Dude,
Did you walk down the aisle with the shades on?
Listen. Think about MF Doom.
There you go. Enough said.
That's all I got to say. Think about
enough said.
Dude, MF Doom. And I'm not
R.I.P.
going
MF Doom.
MF Doom would have a concert, and somebody would come as MF Doom, rap all his stuff, and take off the thing, and they know that ain't him. You never knew that,
bro. So that was one of the, I know he passed away not too long ago. And I was like, man, like how dope would it have been if somebody would have just picked up the gimmick and just kept it going?
To me, that would be the most brilliant thing somebody could ever do, because he had other people doing it. Like, low key, I'm like, why nobody thought about that? Because I said the same thing. I mean, you had all these people dressed like you and do it. If I was in secular hip hop and I was one of those guys that dressed as him and went out and did his stuff, I would have did it. I would have been GF Doom. I don't know, but it would have been the thing.
Yeah.
Kind
of like back in wrestling days when Doink the Clown would leave, they would bring on a new Doink the Clown. Or one of the lines that you said in one of your lyrics, you said something about the real Diesel. I think you made a reference to that. Is that right? Or the real Razor Ramon or something like that?
I said something about Hall and Nash, that's Diesel, that's Razor. Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so for those who don't catch that reference, back in the day, there was these wrestlers in WWF, Razor Ramon and Diesel. Their real life characters, Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, went to WCW, and WWF kept Razor Ramon and Diesel, but they were fake. Absolutely hysterical. Terrible, by the way. Awful. Nonetheless, we're not about to talk about wrestling on this show. We'll come back another day and talk about wrestling. There's a lot of Christian hip-hop heads in wrestling, bro. I don't know if you knew that or not.
My guy, Omega Sparks, not Omega Sparks, it's Cut Right. He got one of his songs on AEW.
Really?
Yes. So shout out to him. He on the album too. He's actually on that song you was talking about.
Nice. So there's a guy, hold on, I'm about to tell you exactly who he is. There's a guy who works for WWE, bro. I'm going to tell you his name in a second. His name is Josiah Williams. Do you know who Josiah Williams is?
I do not.
So he's a Christian hip-hop artist, bro. He works for NXT. So you may know this. Do you remember, not this past year, and I said we wasn't going to talk about wrestling, but dag it, here we are.
We here.
The year that NXT beat everybody in Survivor Series.
Yep.
Okay? NXT come on TV, and there's this skinny black kid on the mic. He's a Christian rapper, bro. Wow. Yeah.
Wow. Now you know Monster Tarver. You heard of him?
Yep.
He was in the Nexus in WWE.
He gave me all
You know?
he gave me all his stuff, bro. He was a rapper.
Yeah, he dope. He dope. He's dope. He's super dope. And who else is in wrestling? Dude, it's
So
I'm
AJ Styles is a huge fan of Christian hip hop. Funny story about AJ Styles, bro. And dang it, I said we wasn't gonna talk about wrestling. Do you remember the night that AJ Styles won the WWE Championship? The first time. It was at Backlash. Backlash. Matter of fact, I've got the Backlash chair. So I reached out to AJ and said, "Hey man, I'm in town. I would love to come check you out." I was driving through. I was coming from New York, driving back home here to North Carolina, and had to go through Richmond. And so he got me tickets to the show, front row. Me and my brother-in-law, we front row at the pay-per-view. He wins the belt, bro. And do you know what happens? He calls me up and says, "Hey man, let's go grab some food." So we go to the little area. We go to the little area where all the wrestlers park. Fans everywhere because everybody's trying to get a quick look at who's coming through the tunnel or whatever. And my little brother-in-law, he was bugging out. He was like, "Oh man, we're gonna get to see somebody." I was like, "Hey man, listen, calm down, bro. Just chill out. You ain't gotta be marking out like these guys. Like we about to go hang out with the champ. Hold tight." So AJ pulls up, bro, blasting some KB, blasting it, bro. People are everywhere. He calls me on the phone, say, "Hey man, where you at?" I say, "Man, I'm right here." He says, he rolls down his window, says, "Hop in the car." Now everybody's looking at me and my little brother like, "Who are these guys? Who are these guys?" They look at me, bro. You know, they start chanting. You ready for this, bro? They thought I was Shelton Benjamin. They thought I was Shelton Benjamin.
That's crazy. Dude, Shelton Benjamin is way taller and bigger than you, dude. But you know,
it was dark outside. You know what I'm saying? It's dark outside. We're about the same complexion, right? And I'm a pretty, big build or whatever. They thought that I was Shelton Benjamin. I thought that was the most hysterical thing ever.
AJ Styles, dude, he's a big video game head, Christian rap head. Like he would be somebody really dope to hang with, knowing he a believer.
He is, bro. Like he's super down to earth, like humble dude, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like the first time we met, he was at the Dove Awards. Him and Montel Jordan presented Lecrae with the Dove Award this particular year, and I was never into TNA at all, and this is when he was still. I think he had just transitioned out of TNA, and was getting ready to head to Japan.
Side note, his best matches were in TNA. Hands
I believe it.
down.
He was a lot younger. He could do a lot more stuff. So that's the thing. I never watched TNA like a full show, but I knew who he was because of how dope his matches were. I would catch glimpses and clips of like, yo, this dude is crazy. For one, this dude is nuts. So he's presenting Lecrae with this award. So I go backstage and I'm talking to him. I'm like, yo, man, I'm a big, wrestling fan, blah, blah, blah. And this dude is like, "Hey, man, you think Lecrae will take a picture with me?" I'm like, "Come, are you serious, bro? Like you're AJ freaking Styles. Like you're a way bigger name than Lecrae is right now, bro. You know what I'm saying?" He was.
It depends who you ask.
Yeah. Looking at the numbers, though, when you look at the numbers, okay, AJ is a way bigger name than Lecrae. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Again, like you say, you're right, and depending on the circles and whatnot, I get it. But it was amazing to see how excited he was like a child, bro. He was like a little kid in a candy store. It was hysterical. Great guy. Titus O'Neil, bro. Another one.
Dope.
Yeah, another brother, man. Like, there's so many. Who else is out there? You remember big you remember Ezekiel Jackson?
That's my homeboy. We real tight.
Where is this?
Anytime I was in Atlanta doing a concert, he was at the show.
I never met him in person. We were following each other on Twitter, and I remember, I think he reached out to me and said, "Hey man, I'm going to this concert with, Reach is doing a concert. Are you going to be there?" I said, "I'm not going to be there, but I put him in contact with whoever to get backstage." And he took a picture with Tadashi, and Tadashi's texted it to me. And this guy is flex his muscle. This dude is huge, bro. Like his bicep is bigger than my freaking forehead, bro. He's a big guy. What's he doing nowadays, bro?
So he got a wrestling school. It's called Brick House, because his real name is Rick. And so Brick and Rick is in the same word. So it's Brick House Wrestling, and he's in Cali. And I think one of the last times I was touring in Cali, he drove from a whole nother town to come. We went to Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles together, and
nice.
His kids love me, dude. So I'm gonna give you a brief story. I was in Atlanta stage diving at a concert, dude, and he was still in WWE, but he had hurt one of his arms. And dude, yeah. I kid you not, like this was when I was going stage dive crazy. I jumped probably like the 6th time, and I think I lost my legs under me, and dude just held up one of his hands, caught me with one hand, threw me back on stage.
I believe it. I believe it.
Crazy.
I believe it. But look, man, listen. I think I saw that he was in Cali. I didn't think that was him, because I was like, man, I know he's in Atlanta, but I guess that is him. So I'll reach out and say what's up. But listen, man, again, I'm gonna have to bring you back on the show, bro. And you got to get me on your show, bro. That like I've been wanting to get on the God Chasers podcast since day one, bro. The hottest 30 minutes in podcasting, bro. Okay.
Podcast land, the hottest 30 minutes in podcast land.
You guys see what he did there? So his show, he keeps his show to 30 minutes. He takes me to over an hour. You see that? He's making sure that this show goes more than 30 minutes so he can stick to the mantra. That's what that is.
No, dude, nobody talks to me about music, ministry, and wrestling. I mean, this a triple double.
There it is. Well, Brinson, man, seriously, bro, I'm gonna definitely have you back on the show, bro. We got a lot more to talk about. I want to hear some of the stories from the road. I want to hear some crazy stories of collabs, and we're going to talk about all those things when I bring you back. So not only am I saying I'm going to bring you back, but I'm telling you what we're going to talk about. That's how serious I am when I say we're going to get you back on the show. Okay?
Let's get it. Thanks for having me, brother.
For sure. Listen, this is the DJ Pdogg in the Mix podcast. Guys, listen, I got more coming up for you guys, so stay tuned. So there you guys have it, man. Make sure you check out my guy Brinson's information. I will have it all in the show notes, man. Great guy, and I'm definitely going to have him back on the show, man. The guy is full of knowledge, and he's just a fun cat to hang out with. Like, I think we hung out like maybe 30 minutes after we got done with the show, and we cut an episode for his podcast as well, man. He had to flex on me a little bit and show me his Marvel Comics collection. Dude's got like some amazing stuff, man. Hopefully next time we bring him on, I'll let him share some of that with you guys, all right? But listen, 2 things I wanted to talk about. One, I wanted to give you guys a health update. So I told you guys in the last episode that I had to go to the dentist to get some dental work done, all right? So I had this 2-part procedure. Same thing they were going to do, one side of my mouth, then the other side on another day. So I went in the first day, and everything went well. I'm going to keep this short and sweet, okay? So follow me here. Everything went well. But then I went in again for the second part of the procedure, and bro, I don't know if my nerves just got the best of me, but man, my blood pressure like shot through the roof. Okay, now I've been battling high blood pressure for a while now, but I've got it under control. I've got it managed. I've been eating right. I've been working out. The doctor said, man, I made some great progression. I've been in the lower 120s, over 70s for a good while. But I met this dentist, man. She's about to do the work. Okay, she says, let me take your blood pressure. And I don't know if my nerves just got the best of me, But man, my blood pressure shot through the roof, bro. It was like 160 over like 111 or something like that. I've never, even in my worst days of high blood pressure, have never seen those kinds of numbers. They were like, listen, we can't do any work, so you need to go to your primary doctor and find out what's going on. And before you come back in, you got to be cleared by your doctors before we can do this procedure. So I took about 2.5 hours to go get myself together, go relax, get my nerves together, and went to see my doctor. She took my blood pressure like 3 times. It had definitely come down way lower. And then after I came home, it came down lower. And the last 2 days, it's been like back at normal, 120s over 60 something, which is right where I want to be. So I'm actually going back in to get the treatment. Actually, by the time you guys see this, hopefully the second treatment will be finished and be done. I what happened, guys, is I've been going through some mental things when it comes to my health. And so sometimes little things can trigger what I would call an episode, or where it's like I'm stressed, and because of stress, my blood pressure goes up. And having this dental work done, it has been stressful. It hasn't been bad, but I don't know. So I was what do they call it? The white coat syndrome gimmick, where, you go into a doctor's office and that automatically like triggers your alarms or whatever. So hopefully by the time you guys see this, I'll be done with that second part of the treatment. And it's all mental. Because again, I went in for the first treatment. Now, granted, they didn't check my blood pressure. They should have. They didn't check it the first time, but everything went well. And so I don't know, bro. So hopefully by the time you guys see this, everything will be okay. And hopefully I can give you guys a great report on the next episode. And I'm going to talk on the next. I was going to do it today, but I'm going to wait till the next episode. I'm going to talk to you guys about my birthday. Okay. I want to tell you guys about a birthday that I had where my wife, my dear loving wife, got me what she thought was the gift of a lifetime. Okay, I'm going to talk about that on the next episode because I want to get you guys' opinion on this gift, okay? And not only are we going to talk about that, but I've got another guy that I'm going to be bringing on the show. I'm going to be bringing on my guy, Lucky Murray from 44 Radio and chhnow.com, and he's going to be joining me, and I'm going to be introducing him to you guys as he will be a recurring guest on the show. And what we're going to be doing when he comes onto the show is we're going to dive into stories and stories in the music business and Christian hip-hop world. And we're going to kind of, give our commentary on them, dissect them a little bit, and give our thoughts on what's going on in the music business and the Christian hip-hop world and whatnot. And so I'm going to bring Lucky Murray on to the show next week. Okay, we'll be right back here, same time, same station. We broadcast every Monday night on Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook, all at DJ Pdogg. And then, of course, you guys see the audio. Well, that's the video version. And then you get to hear the audio version on Apple Podcasts, on Amazon Audible, on Google Podcasts. And, of course, you can see and hear the show on djpdogg.com. Well, listen, man, that wraps up today's show. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Make sure y'all check out my man Brinson. Again, all his information is in my show notes. And I will holler at you guys later. One love. Peace. Thank you for checking out DJ Pdogg in the Mix podcast. Please subscribe via YouTube and hit that notification button. Also subscribe via Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Audible.